Today's a big pressing day, so I figured it'd be a good idea to take you through a full prehab shoulder routine to get some mobility and strength to get set before I start pressing. If you have any type of shoulder pain or weakness, this is one you definitely want to take notes on. All right, let's jump right into it. Just a little bit of note, you're gonna see my mouth moving in the video and the lip sync might be a little bit off, but the music was just too loud inside the gym and there's no way YouTube would have let me through with that copyright. So I'm just dubbing this right now. With that being said, I start out my routine with a Theragun. This is just to get a little bit blood flow in the muscle. I tap onto the rotator cuffs. I hit my supraspinatus, subscapularis. That's why you see me leaned over a little bit. I also hit my lat. That's the best way to go ahead and get it. But I do this in order to not only get some blood flowing, excite the nervous system, but I really want to get that muscle ready to know that it's about to start working before I start hitting it with any type of mobility or trigger point work. For the purposes of the video, I'm going to speed this up because I do hit both sides, but you get the point. And if you are following along and doing this on your own, just know the Theragun is super optional. All right, let's change the scenery in the gym a little bit. Make sure nobody's moving through the way. I like to do my front to back and side to side shoulder mobility here. I do about 10 front and back and then pass throughs 10 each side. My purpose for doing this is to get the synovial fluid in the shoulder a little bit loose, get the muscle going. If I have any type of clicking in my collarbone or my AC joint or anything like that, it usually comes out right here. When we do our pass throughs, the main thing I want you to focus on if you're doing this is to make sure that your back is not arching, right? So you see my back is not coming into this full arch through the thoracic spine. I want to keep it nice and tight. Make sure all the motion is coming through the shoulder capsule itself. You can do this slow or you can do this fast. You can keep your arms as wide or narrow as your shoulder mobility allows you to, but this is definitely a must do inside your prehab. Once I'm done with that, now it's time for the lacrosse ball. We're about to dig into the trap, the subscap, the teres, the chest, all of it. Gotta take the sweater off for this one. Make sure we get nice and deep into that muscle. What I like to do here is to make sure I actually pin that trigger point down. It's not your typical trigger point training. I pin that trigger point down. Right here, I got the trap. And I move through the range of motion that the muscle that I'm pinning down actually works. What this does is it actually sends a signal to relax that trigger point a lot more and get that muscle actually ready to actually accept load and to move load. I've been doing this for quite some time since I've actually had some back to sport athletes and working with some physical therapists, right? So we just roll that ball, we hit about 30 seconds on each side. Maybe I'll do 10, 15 on a particular movement, but I definitely make sure that I get this. It does not feel great. It feels really bad depending on which muscle you're hitting and how tight it actually is. But what I want you to do is remember that when you are hitting these trigger points and something feels tight, that sometimes it can actually be weak. So if you don't know whether it's tight or shortened because it's in a weak state, what I do is actually treat it for both. I first treat it for tightness because that's typically the main thing and it allows my nervous system to relax with the trigger point training. Then I hit it for strengthening up, right? So I loosen it and then strengthen it. I don't do it the other way around. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say there's right or wrong, but there is sound and unsound ways of doing things inside the gym. And this is definitely more of the sound way to do it. You loosen up first and then you stabilize. Now I'm going to jump over and do my pec, hit the minor and major, moving through that range of motion, doing like a little fly motion. And this is really loosening me up. We do know that the pec is going to internally rotate that shoulder and pull it forward in the socket. So if you are having any type of trouble there, you want to definitely make sure that you loosen up that pec. And we can do some tests and retests to make sure that we're balanced on both sides. And you can hit this on both sides or just one. It depends on how balanced you are and how tight or immobile or weak you are on one side to the next. Here I'm doing exactly that by testing and retesting my internal and external rotation to see if I need to do any more capsule mobility. And I feel like I do, so I'm gonna hit a little bit of PNF stretch with the PVC pipe or any type of body bar that you have inside the gym. What I do is I force my shoulder right now into external rotation, not painful at all. And then I'm going to resist it for 5 seconds, 6 seconds with my other hand, and then let it sit back into that stretch again. And that's gonna open me up in that shoulder capsule. Also hit a little bit of pec as well. And then I'm gonna hit you with the internal rotation. We're gonna do what I call a little bit of bully stretch. I'm gonna put that one hand behind the back, grab the bottom of that bar, overlap that upper hand and pull up and forward. And we're gonna do this the same way. We're gonna pull into that internal rotation, give a little resistance for 5 or 6 seconds, and then get back into that stretch. And we can do this 2 to 3 times per set. Then let's retest to see where we are. And if we're good, we keep it moving. If not, we hit another set and then we move on in our prep. Like I said, first we loosen it up and then we start to strengthen. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna strengthen that shelf that actually supports the scapula and then get that shoulder mobility. So we're working serratus as well as getting that overhead mobility here, hitting some pike ups with some plus ups. I do these 2 sets to 3 sets, depending on how I'm feeling, for 15 to 20 reps. And then I superset these with some external rotation, really trying to set that foundation for the shoulder to be able to accept load. Just a little reminder, guys, if you are following along, everything I'm doing here is in 4x speed. So make sure you're actually controlling your movements through the range of motion to really get that big effect. Almost there. We're going to change scenery a little bit, get a little better angle. We're going to do some internal rotation stuff now. Remember, we hit external rotation. Now we're going to hit internal rotation. We can get some resistance on that band, put our elbows nice and tight at 90-degree angle, and then we're going to pull down, control, back. You do not have to do this on a particular eccentric count, but do want you to control it at least for the first set. Feel that burn as you come through. Again, I do these 2 to 3 sets with 15 to 20 reps, and then I superset these. Today, we're going to superset these with some push-ups. Once we're done with our prehab sets, we go into our warm-ups where I hit some chest and tricep warm-ups, a little bit of shoulder to make sure I'm ready to press big. This is my first set, and it looked like it went nice and smooth. If you want to see more content where I take you through a full prehab routine or workout to make sure that you are setting the foundation for your lifts and moving the proper way, definitely hit the like button on this, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what exercises or what prehab routines you want to see next. As always, I'll work through you from yesterday so you can look back and see how far you come, get better one day, one rep at a time.